Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we're going to talk about the crypto fear and greed index and how we are back at fear again for the third time this cycle, and what has happened each other time we've hit fear in this cycle, right? So if you like today's video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Still boring out there in the crypto space right now. Very, very, very boring in the crypto space right now, right? Not a lot happening. You look at some of these charts, it is a pure chop fest out here in the crypto markets. But I think what we could look at today is we're finally starting to see fear come back into the market. So for a while, we were kind of hovering still in greed, still in extreme greed. But now as we've kind of let time kind of lapse, we're now starting to see some fear enter the market, though a lot of prices are staying relatively the same besides the meme coin sector, right? So you guys can see down here, this is the crypto fear and greed index down here. You guys can see that we have now entered fear. Okay, we have now entered the fear at least section in the crypto market, and we've been here a few times this cycle, right? If we kind of just look at this, we've been in down here at extreme fear. We've hit a wick into fear here in March. We had a fear into here in September. We hit fear down in this territory throughout really multiple times through June to October during that summer snoozefest. But you'll notice is every single time we've come into this fear zone, since really breaking out down here at the FTX lows, those have been incredible entry points and points where people are fearful, you want to be greedy, right? That's kind of the saying. And when people are greedy, you want to be fearful, right? Kind of the opposite. Each time we've come into extreme greed, top has come in, right? Extreme greed, local top has come in. Each time we've gone into extreme greed. So next time we're up there, we know. But there's another crypto fear and greed index that I actually wanted to point to you guys today, and that's the the CoinMarketCap crypto fear and greed index. What I think is interesting about this one, let me just fix this so you guys can see it. That would be kind of helpful now. What I think is interesting about this one in particular is just the fact that, let me just fix this over there. There we go. What you'll notice is this has only been around since about 2023, right? CMC has made this around June of 2023. What's actually interesting about this is this one is very, very neat and orderly as far as the extreme greeds periods marking local tops and the fear zones marking local bottoms, at least since 2023, right? So if we kind of look at where we're at, we did just dip into fear again on this for the first time since over here back in October of 2024, right? Which was actually Bitcoin's last local low before pushing from about, in the 50,000s up to about, 110,000. So obviously about a 2x move from that, fear point. We did dip into it multiple times in here, right? So it was not a thing where we dipped into fear and it was just an interim reversal. But if you bought the times that we were in fear here, at least Bitcoin and some altcoins, you did very, very well, right, during that period. And you can go back over here to, 2023, which is like August and September of 2023. Buying those periods for Bitcoin when it was like 25, 26K was also very, very good points where obviously Bitcoin went from about 25K to about 75K in a very short time. So at least on the CMC chart and at least in this bull market, each time we've seen this dip into here has been actually excellent entry points, not only for Bitcoin, actually for altcoins too. Altcoins, a lot of the utility altcoins had major rallies from these late 2024 points. As you guys know, multiple coins did massive moves. As you guys know, XRP, Chainlink, HBAR, Cardano, all had massive moves here. Great entries. Same over here. Fear Green Index was in fear. This is when you had a lot of coins have massive rallies in that late 2023, early 2024 period. And now we're back down here again, right? So we can see that we're back down here. I kind of want to look at not just that we're back at fear. So this is awesome. We're back at fear. We should be moving up now. No, not necessarily. Let's actually look at how long from these points it took us, right? From the time we hit fear the first time until we actually started to trend up, right? In a good way, in like a major way. Well, at least for Bitcoin, right? We hit fear over here in July of 2024. And we started to trend up really, right, in about October of 2024, right? So it took about 3 months from when we hit fear until when we started to trend up, right? So 3 months during this time period. If we go back over here during this time period, we hit fear for the first time in, mid-August, and then we didn't really start to trend up until about mid-October, right? So that was about 2 months. So we saw 2 months of consolidation here in fearful, crappy, sideways periods, right? For 2 months before we trended up. Here we saw 3 months of crappy sideways chop, right? While in fear, obviously bouncing up and down a couple times, but mostly in fear and neutral before trending up. So 2 months, 3 months. Do we have to have a long consolidation now, right? While this chops between neutral and fear for, 2 to 3 months. Now, that's the question we have to ask ourselves. And this is for Bitcoin, right? We have to see. But what I want to point out to you guys is if we actually mark the first times these hit, these fearful levels, right? Other than the fact that it did take us 2 to 3 months each time, if we actually mark this out and we say, okay, mid-August 2023, okay, I'm just going to mark these out on like the chain link chart, just to show you guys, the entries you guys could have had if you did buy while the crypto fear and green index was in fear, right? So mid-August was that candle right there, right? Which was basically, right, you buy in chain link anywhere in this candle from $7 to $5, you would have wrote it up to 23, right? If we take the next time, which was right here in July of 2024, which I'm sure that we kind of continued down from that point. July 2024, what was it? The middle of July 2024, right? I guess it was the beginning of July 2024 we hit it the first time. That would have been, somewhere in this period here, right? So somewhere in like $14 to $15. We did go like 40% lower, right? But that's also taking from the first week. And you notice that we're not at the first week anymore. We're about three, give or take, going into the third week of being in fear now, right? So the third week of being in fear would have put us somewhere in like late July, right? Which would have been, a slightly better entry, I guess. That would have been a little bit closer to the lows, right? Kind of, I think, a little bit more similar to where we are now, about 3 weeks after we hit fear, right? So you guys can see that here was a point where the market was in fear, right? Which was basically a few weeks before we had this impulse. We hit fear again, right? In early July, about 3 weeks later, right? Which is about where we're at now, about 3 weeks after we hit fear. You guys can see we did go sideways for a bit, but that was really the start of this impulse. Now we're in fear again, right? So the question is, do we have to have a longer consolidation like this and like this before we get a third impulse? So do we have to have a consolidation here before having another impulse up? That's the question we have to ask ourselves right now. Now, I want to say it's not guaranteed we get a rally on Bitcoin and altcoins just because we went in fear. It's not guaranteed. We could continue down and just go into extreme fear. We've seen that before, right? So it's no guarantee that we're going up just because we're in fear. I want to make that clear. But I continue to say this, and the trend is your friend until the end, right? And each time that we've dipped into fear on whether you're looking at the regular crypto fear and green index or the CoinMarketCap crypto fear and green index, each time the trend of your friend is until the end, that has been, points where everyone's kind of bored and disinterested, including myself. The price action is super, super boring, but has been points where you kind of wanted to flip bullish if you were bearish when we did dip into these fear points, right? Or at least add to spot bags on your favorite stuff if we did dip into these points. And we've kind of talked about a few times, if we're just going to ignore the crypto fear and green index, we've talked about how total market cap is retesting or has retested our two previous major tops and looking to flip that into support. So we got not major fear, but we got fear coming in on a retest of the two previous tops. Okay, so it's kind of interesting how that works out, right? You get a breakout, you get extreme greed. Everyone's greedy. Everyone wants to be Santa Claus, right? On the breakout, you get a pullback slightly lower where you are, and now you're into fear, right? And that's a perfect sentiment reset, and really, really nice. And we kind of need this sometimes. And I guess, sometimes we have to pay a little bit more attention to the crypto fear and greed index, because each time we've seen this go into extreme greed, we were basically days in almost at the local tops, right? So I think we could say for next time is, if we do end up bottoming somewhere here in fear, or maybe we get one more move down and we go into extreme fear, next time this does go into extreme greed, I think we have to be a little bit wary, right? A little bit wary of at least a local top coming in for the crypto market. So we are in fear right now. You could probably feel it out there, right? Not a lot of talk. It's kind of quiet here in the crypto space. Not a lot of movement for altcoins, consolidations. Not really much happening. It's not like things are really going down besides meme coins. It's more so of chop, boring, sideways, time capitulation going on here in these markets right now. Right. So I continue to say, as long as we hold these previous tops, I remain a bull, especially as we get into a fear retesting the previous tops, right? So that's kind of the video today, guys. Once again, what do we talk about? We're in fear. On the CoinMarketCap chart, each time we came into fear, we did see 2 to 3 months of sideways action before we had an X impulse up. So just keep in mind, we don't have to do that, but that's what we did the last 2 times. And what else? Each time we did go into fear, those were pretty good entry points. Not perfect, right? We did go slightly lower a few times, but those were good entry points in the past. All right, so that's the video today, guys. Just a quick update video. Once again, hopefully we get some fun in these markets, whether it's up or down, and we got something to talk about. But right now, it is a snooze fest, and we're continuing to get through this snooze fest together. But I think we're seeing some good signs of us going, a little bit too greedy in these markets. People, the meme coins, I think dying right now is helping greed come down. I think that's a really, really big thing right now, is these meme coins are getting absolutely pummeled. And a lot of the greed that was stemmed through those memes are now coming through on these fear and greed indexes, which is great, right? So we're seeing a reset of sentiment from extreme greed to fear, while total market cap is really only down 16% from the highs. Beautiful sentiment reset. Could we go a little bit further into like lower in fear and extreme fear? Absolutely. Just be prepared if it happens. But ultimately, I think we're set up in a good spot, guys. And I think it's just a time to have patience and not a time to freak out now that we are into fear. All right. And, I could show you multiple different charts on why that is and whatnot. But, if we kind of look at some of these charts, you got, let's just take these, and I'm just going to show you guys how this usually works, right? This is just Matic. Not that I want to buy Matic, but I just use it as kind of an example here. Where do you have fear, right? You get fear or extreme fear when you come into these lows, right? So you got greed at the highs, extreme greed, fear at the lows. Another example I can pull up over here is Polkadot, right? Polkadot. You got fear at the lows, right? Fear at the lows. And here we are again, coming down to test these lows, coming back into fear, right? That's just kind of how the market works. Extremely greedy at the top, fearful at the lows. All right. So just another example. I'm not going to go through all of that. You guys get the point here, I think. But have a great night, guys. Subscribe if you guys are new, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, Cub Scouts. Getting ready for that next move up. Might take some patience, which it already has, but I'm getting ready for it, fellas. All right. Peace out.